He took it out.
PFT OT Wednesday edition. Peter King, Mike Florio talking about some of the things that we either didn't get to during PFT Live or that we would like to talk about some more. And we spent some time talking about Peter's interview with Bengals coach Zac Taylor. They drafted Joe Burrow first overall last Thursday night. And look, Peter, a year ago, Joe Burrow was a guy who had spent a season at LSU, had a 57% completion percentage, was pissed off about it, went back to the lab to improve his mechanics, specifically his footwork, getting his feet set when he was off platform. His completion percentage skyrockets to north of 76. His yards nearly double. His touchdowns go from 16 to 60. His team goes 15-0. He wins the Heisman Trophy, and he becomes the no-brainer #1 overall pick in the draft. So now the challenge is getting him ready to be the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. When we consider this crazy upside-down environment we're still inhabiting, and there's going to be no offseason program by all appearances, who knows when training camp is going to open, what kind of a challenge are the Bengals really faced with here to get Joe Burrow ready to be their Week 1 starter?
Well, the crazy thing, one of the things I wondered with Zac Taylor is your quarterback, and who knows, maybe Andy Dalton stays and takes the first snap of the year, but for all intents and purposes, your starting quarterback going forward might not even meet A.J. Green until mid-August. I mean, what sort of problem is that? And you know what it reminds me of a little bit, Mike? It reminds me of those stories that you hear about Russell Wilson, and quite honestly, Joe Burrow going to Auburn, in the middle of the summer and then doing enough in summer camp to win the starting job, or like Russell Wilson. 19 days after he lands in Madison, Wisconsin, he's named one of the captains of the team, and he gets the starting quarterback job, and he has a great year. That is what it's going to take this year for Joe Burrow to be really good. But compounding the problem is that Zac Taylor mentioned to me, look, he's going to get all the stuff mentally when we go over it on these teleconference things, when he has like quarterback meetings and all that. So he'll know it, but you've got to do it. You got to go out and throw. And look, I know because I asked the dad, Jimmy Burrow, Ohio University isn't open and Athens High School isn't open. Those are the two big football places where the Burrows live in Southeast Ohio. And so he's going to have to find a field somewhere in the area, just an open field, to throw to people. And he's going to have to find people to throw to, maybe old Athens High teammates. But there's so much about this that's going to be a 30 for 30 one day, I can't even imagine.
And, you say he may not meet A.J. Green until August. I continue to be very, very curious as to how all quarterbacks and their receivers, tight ends, running backs, what kind of arrangements they will make, especially before the world opens up again, because I already suspect that some of that stuff's going on and people are just being discreet as opposed to what they were being a few weeks ago when they were posting evidence of it on social media. But if you're Joe Burrow and you want to take charge of that team, you're going to want to get together with A.J. Green. You're going to want to get together with John Ross. You're going to want to get together with T. Higgins. You're going to want to get together with Joe Mixon and really start working on getting yourself ready to play. And it's that mentality that Chris Sims shares from time to time on PFT Live. Football players just don't care. Maybe they should, but they don't. They're not worried about the coronavirus. They're confident that if they get it, they'll be fine. They're not thinking about all of the potential implications of passing it around their families. They are young, they are invincible, they are strong, and they are going to do what they have to do to be ready to go play football, period. So, there's the stuff we know about Peter, but I also think there's going to be the stuff that we don't know about. And if the seasoned pros like Tom Brady may be doing it, Joe Burrow is going to find a way to do it too.
Probably so. And look, I think as we have talked about before, Tom Brady's going to find a way to get Mike Evans and Cameron Braid and Chris Godwin up to his place up in Montana, and he's going to throw to him at some point. And I would expect that the Bengals are going to try to do that with Burrow and these guys somewhere. But at the very least, Mike, they're going to have to wait a little while, I think, because of local ordinances and you can't be together. But this is all such a mystery right now. And that's one of the things I was saying to somebody the other day. Look, I've now been a sports writer for 40 years and 1 month. Okay. This by far is the most intriguing time and the most interesting time that I've ever been a sports writer. And I wake up every day and think about 9 things that, hey, I should look into this. I should look into that. So we just don't know what's going to happen. But part of that is so intriguing. If we don't know what's going to happen, that's what kind of makes it interesting.
Yeah, there's been a formula every year, and I've been doing this 20 years now. Every April is the same. Every May is the same. Every June is the same. It's different names. It's different twists, but it's always that same cookie cutter on the NFL calendar. And now that we've gotten through the draft, which was the focal point for weeks, the cookie cutters are thrown out the window. We have no idea how this is going to play out. We have no idea which teams are going to master this new reality, which teams are going to be kicked to the curb. And we can just, at this point, only hope that we will see football at some point this year. And look, it's amazing when you listen to some of the folks in the media who just want to fire darts at the sports writers and the broadcasters who are trying to be realistic and suggest that we're being pessimistic. No, we're being realistic. We're being objective. We're looking at the situation and recognizing it's going to be different for everybody, and there is a chance there isn't going to be football this year, which is part of the coverage that we have to devote to this. So we hopefully will see Joe Burrow with the Bengals, Peter. We hopefully will see all these players on the field. But I think it's ridiculously naive at this point to assume it will happen without complication, without delay, and without the possibility that it's just not going to happen at all.
I agree. And the one other point I think you really have to consider in all of this is, and it's with every rookie. Every rookie is going to have a different process this year than a normal rookie would have. To me, it's one of the reasons. One general manager told me Saturday night when I said, hey, how's it going? And he goes, we're really, really happy with the intelligence of the guys who we picked. And I said, explain that. And he goes, we don't have any idea what these guys are going to go through before the season starts. So doesn't it stand to reason why we want people who are really smart so that the indoctrination period, both mentally and then on the field, is going to be a short one. And, you don't want to be taking a lot of time if you only have 3 weeks of practice before your first game, teaching all the remedial stuff to a guy who has to play for you. And so that, I think, is going to show. I think some of the best rookie years we'll see this year. We'll look back, Mike, in January or February, and we'll say, oh, my God, Cole Kmet was great for the Chicago Bears because he picked up stuff seamlessly and he adapted quickly. And that's Joe Burrow has to adapt quickly and seamlessly, for the Bengals to have a chance this year.
Yeah, and it's all to be determined, and there's no formula. There's nothing we can look at. There's no statistic based on their past play that we can really say, aha, here's the evidence, especially since Burrow struggled his first year at LSU. If he had made that transition from Ohio State to LSU and had the year he had last year right out of the gates, then you've got evidence of it. But with a lot of these guys, we just don't know and we won't know. But we can hope, and that's what we'll do, and we'll continue to provide you with all the information you need about what's happening in the NFL on PFT Live, on PFT OT, and all of the various NBC sports platforms. Thanks, as always, for some of your time, and we'll see you back here again on Thursday.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.